guys, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about marketing automation, right? So something I'm very passionate about, and the reason I'm very passionate about it is because it absolutely works, right? Most businesses are still caught up in the world of pay-per-click and SEO, right? Spend an absolute fortune on it. And you know, it will actually drive traffic to your website. But the question is, what happens to those people that come to your website that you have then paid a lot of money to? What happens to them after they leave, right? So really, that's where some really insightful people have sort of uncovered a trick around the area of marketing automation. And like I said, I'm very passionate about it because it works. Okay. So I just want to start with this slide because I like it. Kind of reminds me when I was a kid. I used to live in Holland, grew up in Holland. My parents were Irish, and we'd come over, and everybody we'd have Christmas TV, Christmas, and the Christmas TV ads would be on, and people would be singing the ads, right, and quoting the catchphrases. Anybody experienced that? Slightly older, yeah. Does it happen still?
Yeah.
Still happen?
Yeah.
Really? Not so much, right? I still remember armadillo, crunchy on the inside, soft on the inside, or inside, whatever it is, vice versa. Obviously, don't remember it that well. But yeah, the world is changing, right? So, if you go into the typical household, for sure the TV is on, but it's, when the ads come on, they're typically changed, or else people are watching stuff on Netflix, or they're engaged on all these other mediums, right? So the world has changed, and not just in the typical household, but in the world of business as well. So I'm going to be talking about a little bit about marketing automation, but also about how marketing automation was implemented in a project that I was involved in. And what I like about it is it's an end-to-end implementation. So before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the good people that pay me a salary in order for me to talk to you good people. And that company is Oracle. And I'm not going to say much about. I'm going to show you some screenshots, but just to make the point clear, this is not a selling presentation. I've seen some of the other presentations. I'm not here to sell you Oracle, right? I'm here to tell you what marketing automation can potentially do for your businesses. If you're looking for best in class, if you're a company over 50 people, absolutely you should be talking to us, right? Whether you're B2B or B2C, or whether you're SMB or enterprise, right? Oracle is really the only one in the space that has this whole ecosystem of products that slot into different types of businesses, right? And I'm not going to go through it now, but that's very different to what our competition offers. And I just would like to reiterate the point, because just in terms of the audience that we have here, SMB, right, is absolutely a market for us. We have a whole sales team called SMB, and they'd be more than happy to talk to you about marketing automation. Okay? So, what is marketing automation? Anybody have any ideas on what is it? There's all this talk and hype and keep on seeing this stuff on LinkedIn, but what is it? Okay, right. Fair enough. That happens all the time, right? Every time you ask, nobody answers. But anyway, you're thinking about it now. So first of all, marketing automation is about a couple of things. First and foremost, it's about reducing the cost of acquiring new names and new customers to your business. Second, and maybe this is more important, right? But usually you see the low-hanging fruit of the reduction in cost. It's about increasing revenue, right? And thirdly, it's really about giving you a tool that enables you to talk to all of your customers over all these different channels in a very coherent manner, right? So, in other words, if you are in the process of buying an expensive piece of software and you are initially engaged with through email, but maybe you didn't open that email, well then, what marketing automation will do is say, well, this good gentleman here, he's not actually responding to our emails. We know he's interested because we can also see he's been on our website. It's another thing that marketing automation will do for you. But you know what? We're actually going to shoot some messaging out to him through a social media, through a social channel, right? Or maybe he has our app and we want to make him or her aware that we have this really cool new upgrade that we know because they have a sales team that's larger than 100 people, that that's very, very apt. So then maybe you'll use in-app messaging, right? So all of this infrastructure, all of these different digital tools that people are using, marketing automation is the platform that's going to allow you to manage that, right? And like I said, to communicate with your audience, and here's key, and I'll talk about these key points a little bit more later on, in a very personalized way, so that you feel that that communication is directed at you, right? So do we have a lot of marketers in the room considering the event? I assume we do. I won't ask. Yeah, good, excellent. Okay, I'm sure there's more than those 2 or 3 hands that went up. But like, really, why should you care about this, right? Well, the simple fact is, and anybody not heard this quote, because sometimes you see different numbers, sometimes like 99.9% of the journey, right? But the fact is, depending on which report you read, is that customers will go on what's called a self-directed journey when they are looking at a considered purchase, right? So a considered purchase is something like, it's not transactional. It's not just like, oh, I really like those earrings. I'm gonna buy them. I'm just gonna click buy now, right? It's like, okay, I want a car, or in business, I want a CRM to manage my, my big sales team, right? These are considered purchases. And like 60% of the journey, so before the customer actually comes to your site, 60% of that journey is already done. So why do we care about that 60% as marketers? Anybody? I'd love to see somebody say, well, we care because marketing lives in that 60%, right? Marketing are the ones that are actually managing that journey. So if we look at, let's sort of like reverse engineer that for a second. Okay, so first of all, we start at the very highest level. We say, okay, as a business, our goal is to hit and exceed revenue targets. Okay, so that's our goal. In order for that to happen, we need the sales team to hit 100%, right? In order for the sales team to hit 100% of their target, especially based on this new research around considered purchases, we, as a marketing team, need to ensure that we hit our MQL and SQL targets. And I don't believe in jargon, but that is sort of, if you're looking at a marketing automation platform, that is sort of well-known marketing speak, but not everybody has a marketing platform, so I'll talk about it a little bit. Unless anybody wants to explain it to us, MQL, anybody know what it is, what it stands for? Okay. So, it stands for a marketing qualified lead, and it's typically the scoring and the process that a lead or thousands or millions of leads have gone through in order for them to be scored sufficiently that we say, okay, this person is the right profile and is showing the right behavior, that we're saying, you know what, they're actually qualified for somebody to talk to them, right? If you've got a really large group of customers that you're communicating with, your sales team can't possibly reach everybody, right? So you want to make sure that they are reaching the ones that are the best profile and showing behavior that means they're actually going to buy, right? SQL, by the way, is sales qualified, right? So that means that the sales team goes, yes, I've taken this lead, and you know what? It's ready. I agree. The marketing automation system has got it right. Okay? So again, we're not there yet. And by the way, this is something that I'm going to show you later on. This is something that marketing looks after with sales, right? So this buzz term of sales and marketing alignment, it's not just like you go, okay, I bought a marketing automation system, so now I know what an SQL and an MQL is. You decide yourself based on your own process. Okay? So in order to hit our MQLs and our SQLs, we need to hit a certain amount of leads, right? Because some of those leads are going to be crap, and some of them are going to be very good, and they're going to be scored, etc., etc. So in order to do that, we need to hit our traffic goal. And basically, it all sort of fits together in terms of what I was saying. Why is this important? We live in this space as marketers, because marketing is driving the pipeline and revenue, right? One of the things I'm going to show you, and this is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about it, like I worked, first of all, working for Oracle, I've helped many businesses implement these type of systems, and it's just completely changed their business. Okay, so I've worked with some of their competitors as well, and just seeing how that works, like, they're just like, wow, this is, really helped me scale, get investment, all these sort of good things, right? So, and also the other thing as marketers, what you should realize is that you know, companies in the know, investor-class companies, they're always looking for people with experience in marketing automation because they are the new revenue drivers, right? I shouldn't say that too loud because I'm a sales guy and I don't want you guys to start getting the big money. But the fact is that people that are really good at marketing automation, even in, you know, a platform like Adequa or one of the competitors' platforms, you know, you're actually worth a lot of money to the business because you know how to play this game. Okay? Right, so like, you know, the typical sort of like challenges, you know, just stepping back a little bit here. So like serious decisions around a report and said, look, you absolute businesses that are in this space, they absolutely need to be looking at it. Even larger businesses that were traditionally invested in TV ads, the fact is that 80% of people now are just skipping TV ads, right? And there's other reports that say they're like 60, 70% less effective. Email lists, right? If you're just like blasting communication that's not personalized, people are just ignoring it and unsubscribing. Like, we all do it, right? We all get this thing, not really interested, right? But when you get that email that speaks to you, as in, you know, I know one company that knows, you know, what I'm interested in. Like, I love rugby, but not just rugby, I love specifically Leinster and Irish rugby. So I get communication from that company in terms of new products that they have that are sort of relevant to that space. If I start getting stuff on like Leeds United Football Club, you know what? I'm not against Leeds United Football Club, but I'm going to unsubscribe because what the hell? They're just filling up my email box. Okay. So like 47% email never opened, and also for those of us in sales, if you try cold calling, businesses are not open for it anymore, and it's because of that fact. People, when they are interested in their product, they are doing research. They are actually in a process of already looking for you. Cold calling does not work anymore, right? And anybody in sales will tell you that. There's websites and they don't even list their telephone numbers anymore because they don't want to be contacted that way. Okay? So, right, so what is the new playbook? Right? So if you remember anything, remember what's on this slide. Okay, so this is the new marketing playbook. Am I over time?
No, you're fine.
Okay. I better speed up a bit though. Okay, so first one here, P. So little lady in there with a looking glass on her, what does that mean? Most important principle. Personalized, right? It's relevant to that person. Also, in terms of the next one is like, it's great if it's personalized, but it also, like, and there's some debate over this, like quality versus quantity. Well, you know, you need both really, so personalization will ensure that there is an element of quality there, but it also should be continuous over time, okay? So you should have communication that's ongoing, continuously over time. Marketing automation will actually show you, will have reports that say, hey, you've got like 5,000 customers or 10,000 customers in this segment of your marketing nurturing program. If you don't fill it with new content, if you don't put in new emails or new blogs or whatever it is that you're sending to them, these people are going to fall out of your funnel because you're not actually going to be communicating with them anymore. Does that make sense? Right, I'll talk about that nurturing a little bit more in a little while. And also at scale, right? So, you know, you need to be able to talk to, like, you know, maybe a couple of hundred, but it could also be thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people. And also it should always be towards a goal. Now that goal might be something as simple as keeping them engaged with your brand, or it could be something like the best marketing programs that I've been part of is where they're literally, the customer has just bought something, which is, by the way, the best time to try and sell them something else, and then they actually send them another email or some communication that is relevant to them, that helps them buy more. So in other words, buy a related product that is, could be a power supply that goes with a laptop or whatever. Okay? And also, you need to be everywhere they are. So, and that is email. Email is absolutely important, but I'm not talking about MailChimp email. I'm talking about advanced, personalized email that's based on where they fit in your database, on a segment, and based on how they behave. That is completely different than email blasts. Okay, if you want to know more about that, by the way, I'm doing a webinar tomorrow at 11 o'clock and I talk a little bit more about this and do a short demo as well in terms of how you set up these personalized streams based on segmentation and based on behavior, right? So behavior is they went to your website and looked at your pricing page, right? So something like that. Okay, so here's the case study, right? So an end-to-end funnel solution, right? So end-to-end funnel solution means we started with this company, right? SmartWorks. I sometimes get the name mixed up with another company, but anyway, they started with anonymous. They wanted to engage with anonymous people, right? And then to be able to turn that into money, and then also be able to turn that money into even more money. So it was a really nice project, because it really was end to end. I've got 1 minute. Okay, guys. I'll just say I'll see you hopefully some of you tomorrow on the webinar. See, I initially thought it was 25, so my mistake. Okay, so okay, not much I'm going to be able to do in 1 minute. So this company was struggling to attract new customers. Actually, do you know what I'll do? I just have to I have a summary slide. Okay.
No pressure.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. Here's a summary slide. Okay, so basically I talked about how you do it, and they were quick slides, by the way. I know there was a lot, but they were supposed to be 40 seconds each. Okay, so first of all, the first challenge this company had was get their email address. Okay, so this is what anonymous people that they decided. Okay, so they have this technology that said called DMP, by the way, if you want to know what it's called. But basically, what it does is it looked at their database and it said, okay, these are the people that are buying from you. Okay, so there's a lot more people like that out there, right? But you don't have them in your database, so you can't communicate with them. Incorrect. You can't communicate with them through email, but we enable them through our technology to communicate with them through social channels. So like LinkedIn, Facebook, right? So like through Google. So whenever they were doing stuff, they were actually seeing really personalized messages. So for example, they were targeting the marine industry. So that person could be in LinkedIn, and all of a sudden they'd see an ad, industrial automation equipment for the marine industry, right? So something along those lines. So if you are an engineer in that area, because it's personalized, you go, oh, you know what? Well, not everybody, but a lot of them would actually say, I'm going to click on that, okay? So once we had them, just 1 more minute, yeah? Once we had them, right, so we don't have their email address, but we have them on our site now because they've clicked on something, right? Like, pay-per-click works the same way, right? You get them to your site. So the next thing is we want to get their email address and find out who they actually are, right? So actually get them to give us their email address. And then, I was going to show you a slide in terms of how you score them and how you look at the segmentation and how you can you look at their behavior. But once you have that, you actually start tracking their behavior, right? And then these prospects move into the MQL stage. Remember I said they are scored sufficiently that they're ready to talk to somebody. Okay, so this is the summary slide that I used for that business as well, by the way. So in this case, they had what's called a business development person, who wasn't a full-fledged salesperson, kind of sits between marketing and sales, who would call them and say, look, I see you're in this industry, I saw you were looking at this, blah, blah, blah. Are you actually looking for something? And then if the person said, yes, absolutely, they would be passed over to a business or a salesperson, right? And then the salesperson would actually look again through the history and then try and turn them into a customer and take them through the sales process. So the first 60% of that customer journey is all about highly personalized, customized communication, communicate with them through different channels, and then once you have them, you either turn them into a customer, right? Or if not, you then you put them in a nurturing bucket. And the last thing